Shalom, shalom, y'all Sharala. We want to start off first things first, giving all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakadash, which in Peter Hubutans, connects any Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the apostle, elders, of great millstone, and shalom to you, sister brothers, living is true, and shalom to brothers and sisters that's listening and studying to show themselves approved. Shalom. So I'm gonna come again with a part 2 on the Israelite movie review of They Clone Tyrone. I feel like it's some stuff I left on the table that I wanted to elaborate more on that I seen in that movie, Yasharala. And pretty much I want to talk about the archetypes that were in the movie, and something that was really big that I loved about the movie was Tiana Paris's character Yo-Yo, the female counterpart in the movie. And what I loved about her character, is that she was what Eve is supposed to be for the men of Israel. She was very supportive. She loved Slick, played by Jamie Foxx. She was a very supportive character for Fontaine, played by John Boyega. She was very supportive of him when he was going through his stuff. And she was like what Eve was supposed to be, what Eve used to be for us as a nation of Israel before Esau, messed Eve's head all up and made her cast her man away. Because you think about it, Eve had to be with us to build something like Black Wall Street. Our women were with us then. We had control of our women during the 1920s to build Black Wall Street. And Esau seen that. That's why during the 50s and 60s, he had his female counterpart, the Edomite woman, convince Eve that Jake is no good so they can mess up the dynamic of the male and female version, the whole relationship status of Yashrala and destroy our community. And then once the separation happened, then they ran a whole, they destroyed Eve after that. They ran a whole campaign slogan. I don't need a man. Man, that stuff ran all the way, like I heard it when I was strong in the 90s, my mother and them. But it's running strong to this day. Eve is just done if she's not in this truth. If Eve is not in this truth, she's done. And then going to the movie, like her character showed that in the movie, man. She was a big time support. She was a helpmeet to both characters in the movie, man. Slick and to Fontaine. She was that. They wouldn't even like made it to where they was gonna go if it wasn't for her. She was always bringing something in. Whatever they needed, a place to go, place to stay, she was that. She was everything they needed. She was the other witness. She was very helpful. Very helpful. They wouldn't even got where they was gonna need to do or be if it wasn't for, Yo-Yo in the movie. So I'm gonna get this. Let's go to the scriptures. Let's get this. Let's start with let's go with Genesis 2 and 18. And this reads, this is Genesis 2 and 18. And the Lord Yahweh said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. And what was he talking about right there? Said make a helpmeet for him. He's talking about the woman. See, Eve has forgotten in today's society that her whole being and her whole value system comes from how valuable she is to her man. Eve thinks it's about getting the bag, being a bad bitch and all that type of stuff, and being a boss woman and all of that, and being totally ratchet. That's where your average Eve's mindset is at. She's not about being feminine and supporting her man and her household, raising her children. Like Esau ran a whole program. That's why this movie is so big. Like Eve's become a clone, and in the movie they didn't clone her. They only cloned the men because Eve is the weaker vessel. So she'd just be a product of all the messed up men they make. See, it takes effort and it takes, a lot of resource to control a man. Because men are created strong. We have the logic, we have knowledge, we have wisdom. That's why you look at the clones, they was what? Clone of Fontaine, Slick and the pastor, mostly men. You know, matter of fact, I probably watch it again. I don't think I've seen any female clones. And I think in the movie, Esau made his thing like, yeah, we ain't got to clone you, you know. So the woman is supposed to be the support system for the man. And in that movie, you seen that brilliantly played out with the character Yo-Yo, especially at the end of the movie. When Esau's talking noise like, I don't know what you ever seen in him. You know, he's talking noise to Jamie Foxx's character, you know, and she was like, you know, he's slick. You know, she started talking about all the things she loved about him. And that stalled out the Edomite so that Jamie Foxx like being like slick, get out them clothes, and he popped Esau. You know, so that was very big to me to watch her character and seeing Eve in that in her essence, what she's really was designed and created to be. That was in that movie. You know, that young director, he brilliantly displayed that. And that was like big to me, man, to see that. Cause you don't see that in today's society too much. You know, I got a very, very small few feminine women in my family that are like that. My mother's like that. So I got to see, I know what a feminine helpmate looks like because my mother is that. My great grandmother was that. I have an aunt like that. But the majority of the rest of the females in my family, they're, you know, your common Babylonian Eve. You know, and that's why most of them are single. Gonna stay single too. So that was big right there in that movie. I didn't miss that. Like Yo-Yo was a helpmeet. She was very helpful to the men. You know, she was down for her people. Cause I noticed when they wanted to give up, Slick and Fontaine wanted to give up, she didn't. She was like, "Nah, we gotta build the top off this. We gotta expose this. She was all about we gotta tell our people." She telling Fontaine, it ain't just about you, it's about us. You know, and that used to be our women back then. They had their mentality, they had their spirit, you know, and to you few sisters in the truth, man, like, you know, call her Lord, how about your shot for y'all? Because it's coming back again. You know, the women are now being a helpmate. I see women paying tithes, being silent. So it's coming back. It is coming back. And you seen that in that film. And I want to talk about another character that was in that movie that was very big and profound too. I had to talk about the first time. And that was the little dude that was with Fontaine, Junebug. The little boy that was with Fontaine, Junebug, man. He was a comforter, you know, and it also showed their programming too. He's in the car, he out talking about some SpongeBob. You know, a SpongeBob cartoon, that's all about some programming. So everybody noticed, everybody in the movie had some type of programming to where Esau can mold him what he wants him to be. But the Spirit of the Lord is in everything. And in the movie, you can see that Junebug was very vital and important to Fontaine's character. Because when he lost his mother, when he found that his mother was just a recording, he didn't have no mother, you know, he was angry, lashing out, crying. Who came to comfort him? It was Junebug, you know, and Junebug, that part in the movie is what gave Fontaine the strength to carry on to do what he needed to do. They building him up. It kept him from breaking, you know, and that's how the Holy Spirit is for us, that comforter. And, you know, Eve, if she's, you know, in the right spirit, she's a comforter. And your children, you know, my children are a comfort to me. So that movie, that part of the movie resonated big with me. Because a lot of times when I'm going through something tough, or I'm just having this, you know, Esau pissed me off at the job, I'm just having a bad day, you know, my son or daughter say something to me that'll just snap me out of it. I really do have the joy of my children, you know. They do the same thing. And that's that comfort, man. Yahshua said he would not leave us comfortless. He wouldn't do that. So we get little sprinkles of comfort here and there from, you know, any individual in our nation that you did. And like mine, it comes a lot from my children. You know, a lot from them. They always using the happy mood. And like Junebug, man, the stuff he did with Fontaine remind me of the stuff my son say. Because he'll come tell me about the cartoons he watch and, you know, say a little something and, you know, it just puts you in a good spirit, man. It gives you the endurance and strength to carry on. And you've seen that in that movie. So I'm gonna go get this. So we'll get Matthew 5 and 4. And this is Matthew 5:4. Blessed are they that mourn, for they should be comforted. And that's true. We mourning, man. We done lost our kingdom. And when you look in that movie, when he found out his mother wasn't real, he didn't have nobody, he was mourning. You know, he went from angry to on the porch crying. He was mourning. The Lord said, blessed for you that mourn, because what did he say? You should be comforted. And who came up to him in his lowest moment? The little boy Junebug, talking about some SpongeBob and drinking little Capri Suns, and it cheered him up. And I remember him saying to Junebug, "It's like you remind me of somebody," which we found out in the movie that was his brother that Junebug reminded him of, and they gave him the strength to carry on. Do what Yo-Yo was saying, go, blow the lid off Esau's, his whole agenda. And that part of the movie was this. I said this movie really showed John Boyega's talent. Like I didn't like him in the other movies. Now I see, I thought he was a bad actor. Now I'm saying it wasn't him. It was just him trying to be what Esau told him to do. Like he couldn't. I didn't like Pacific Rim. Him in Pacific Rim #2. I didn't like him in the Star Wars movie. I thought he was a flavorless Jake. I thought dude was trash. But in this movie, man, he flexed his talent. Like dude is an A1 talent. He just need to be with a Jake director. So I'm saying now that was Esau making him act all stiff and act like an Edomite, but that's not his natural mode. Which, man, that just goes into everything right there, the movie and everything. Like when we get to be in our essence, our natural selves. Oh man, that talent, the blessings it shows. So like I said, he put a lot of. I got to see his talent in this movie, John Boyega. I never got to see in the other movies. This movie, he got to display that. He went through a whole range of emotions in this movie, a whole range. He played them perfectly. Like you felt the weight of the emotion in the movie when you watched it, man. Our people are really talented. Cause I watched like some Edomite superhero movies. A lot of Edomites cannot put emotion in the movie, man. They're not really talented actors, really. Jake is far superior. And all you gotta do is look no further than Jamie Foxx. Like we're just naturally better than them, and you can see it. I see why they got a inferiority complex because they suck compared to us. So in that movie, I like that, man. And we are comforted. We're comforted through what? Like I said earlier, the Holy Spirit. Our children. If you got a loving wife, if you're a man, you got a loving wife, she'll comfort you. For the sisters in the truth, if you got a man of the Lord, he'll comfort you. And like the scriptures is a comforter. When I read certain precepts, this puts me in a whole high spirit. You might be down low. I might read a precept, hey, battle axes, baby. And it just amps me up like, oh yeah, we're gonna put the beat down on Esau, and now I'm back to my normal self. Pretty much these lessons are comforters. Like I could be going through something, put on a lesson, and I'm automatically back in my natural mode again. Back in that, the good spirit. Based on just one lesson. One good lesson does it. So we do have comfort. These lessons really, like having this truth is what really carries me on. If I didn't have this truth right now, I don't know if I could even make it in Esau's kingdom anymore because it's very vexing. Very, very vexing, man. Me and my Kadar Sam talk about it all the time. We tired of working for Esau. It's very depressing and it's just very stressful. So these lessons keep me going because it comforts me because I know we got something better than this coming. That's why I look at 2/3 like I'm looking at them like how can you make it, man? When you ain't got nothing to look forward to but Esau's kingdom, which is being destroyed. So I know 2/3 gonna bug out. Cause they're gonna lose their comfort. Their comfort comes from money and what Esau provide. And that's about to go down the drain. So they're gonna lose their comfort. Our comfort comes from Yahweh Shah. That's only going to increase. Especially if these prophecies get fulfilled. We gonna be like, yes, our power was fighting for us. So we do have the comfort. You seen that in the movie. From Eve's character, Yo-Yo, to the character of Junebug. You seen that. And I love that. Because it helps you carry on because we're in captivity, man. We're in captivity. Esau is still on top of us. Little do Jake know. And like the movie, it's got like when you in that clone mindset, that Edomite programming, because they was running MK Ultra, um, putting stuff in the food. You know, you put that what was that the stuff in the relaxer. And I know it was making when they put it in their hair, it was making them actually relax, which is symbolic, you know, for that relax. He was trying to show them like quit putting that stuff in your hair. So there's a lot of subliminals in this movie that he's trying to wake Jake up to, and it was just so. And I like how Eve used wisdom when they had her trapped, and they tried to put the relaxer in her hair, and she had a whole wig on. She played him like they just showed the wisdom of Jake, and man, I love that movie. You know, I'm still like watch it again to see if I catch something else. Because when you're in that clone mindset, you're like a slave, especially when you don't know that you're in that mindset. You sell Esau's drugs, um, the whoremongers are, you know, ruining the women making money, like everybody, you're buying things, being a consumer. It's all to keep the engine running so Esau can stay in power and stay rich and stay in his heaven. Because the rich Edomites, they're in their heaven right now. Really, all of them are. You know, just the dumb ones, the lower level ones on our level, they so dumb and they succumb to what's going on in Babylon the Great. But they have a thing called white privilege. So all Edomites benefit from them being in rulership. And that's about to be over with. And the thing to make that over with, Jake has to come out of that slave mindset, which we are. Because Yahushua don't need all of Israel to come out that slave mindset. He just need the hopeful elect to come out. That's all he really need. That few, he can build a kingdom with that. Because they can bring back the others that's going to be destroyed in Jacob's trouble, you know, through the loins of the hopeful elect and the wombs of the hopeful elect that's still, you know, going to be preserved and left, you know, after the destruction. So let's go to Jeremiah 2 and 14, because the 2/3, hey man, they're going to stay there till they destroyed. Let's read the precept. This Jeremiah 2 and 14. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? You know? So when it says Israel servant, is he a homeborn slave? When it comes to 2/3, the answer is yes, they are. Why? All you gotta do is just read the precept above it, you know? They forsaken the living waters, which means they don't read the Bible, which I'm gonna bring that up too. Let me bring it out. 13, because this 13 explains why they're a homeborn slave, you know? And this is Jeremiah 2 and 13. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, that's Yahushua, the fountain of living waters, the scriptures, and hewn them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. So they disregard Yahushua, they disregard the Bible, they disregard the truth. And if you disregard that, what are you going to stay? A clone. You're going to stay a clone of what Esau makes you out to be. You're going to be an archetype. You're going to be a hood nigga, a ratchet hoe, a pimp, a scammer, you know, just a degenerate is what you're going to stay. Because to come up out there whole, you need your house shot. You need the living waters, which compared to the scriptures, you need the scriptures because it's our map, it's our guideline to break us out of that slave mindset. You know, planted Christianity, they push you in a slave mindset. They showed that in the church. They drinking they call it grape drink. And it was just making them just be obedient where they'll listen. That's what Planet Christianity was all about. And I like how he showed that in the movie with the church scene. You know, because the Planet Christianity, that right there, that was a big time sorcery, big time deceit, a big time trick. It's so cold that the majority of our people cannot get out of that mindset. So I'm like, woo, that was a powerful enchantment on Jake, which is white Jesus. But see, the hopeful leg ain't gonna abide by that. The hopeful leg, they gonna drink the living waters, man. When you read the scriptures and everything they taught us in Sunday school, it don't go together. It doesn't. Because you read the scriptures, it tell you it's all about Israel. But you know, Pastor Porch will tell you everybody can be saved. I'm like, that's not what the scriptures say. It starts talking about Jacob, like talking about Israel. Like you can get to John 3:16, but if you go this one chapter over, salvation is for the Jews. So, and then you read Hebrews 1 and 2, it said, Yahushua made the worlds. So then you like, okay, so now I see what world he made. He gave his one begotten son for. So you get the proper context of the scriptures when you read it yourself. That's that's the first thing to get everything going. The first thing to get you back on track is reading the scriptures yourself. There's a lot of people haven't. And then you'll get like, I got people in my family tell me some stuff, and I'm like, I can just tell right now you ain't read 2 pages in the Bible. This is based on the same you said to me. You regurgitating to me what they been saying. Showed the pastor, was it David Allegreer from In Living Color? He did a good job being an old pastor pork chop. And then I'm trying to think, what didn't they play some rap song in the church? I think they did. And had them just acting a fool. That's the church. They showed the black church in all its glory. And if you with that, it's gonna lead to your destruction. And it puts you in a slave mindset. Matter of fact, Esau had a slave Bible. That the church was tailored off of that Bible. The black church was tailored after the slave Bible. So that leads to that Jeremiah 2 and 14 makes you a homeborn slave. And it says, why is he spoiled? We know why. Because of the doctrine that Esau taught. Esau's why, Jacob's a homeborn slave. He puts him in that clone mindset to make him a clone. Like all individuality is gone. You're going to be like him, and him, and y'all going to chase and pursue what I told you to pursue. What I said is success. I'm going to tell you what your ambition is going to be. And that's all you're going to get. If he puts Jake in a little bitty box, and if you don't have the Spirit of the Lord in you, you're going to stay there. See, the Spirit of the Lord is in the hopeful elect. That's why we bust out the box. And you seen that in the movie when they started seeing the truth, that they lives wasn't real and stuff was fabricated. When they seen the laboratories and they seen what Esau was doing to them, man, after that, they couldn't go back to just being no regular old nigga no more. They couldn't do it. And then I'm going to bring up another part in the movie that I touched on the first time, but I want to elaborate on it now. And that's that code word that Esau used to freeze Jake out and control him, like all the way complete control him. What did he say? The code word was Black Olympian. And when you think about what does that word Olympian come from? I talked to my Marak Shema, like he made a good point, when he talked to me. And he was like, Olympian, they go back to Greek, the Grecians. Like when you think about Mount Olympus, that's that Greek word. So when you think about Black Olympian, because black means, absence of light, void of light, bad. When you look at the 2/3 Jake, really they are Black Olympians. They act just like Edomites. So that was big for him to even put that code word in the movie Black Olympian. That was big, man. I said, dude was giving breadcrumbs if Jake got spiritual eyes and could see it. A nigga ain't nothing but a Black Olympian. He's a Black Grecian. He a Black Greek. That's what he is. And our people fought way back in the day to be that. At one point when the Romans took over, they told Yahushua, we have no king but Caesar. When they told who was that? Pilate Pontius. When he was trying to he was trying to let Yahushua go. He's like, man, y'all want me to destroy your king? And they like, man, king, he ain't our king. We have no king but Caesar. Before they was saying that, they was calling themselves Grecians. They thought they was Greek. So the Apostle Paul's trying to wake them up like, hey, man, y'all know who y'all are, but our people still want to be Grecians. They still want to be Edomites. That's why another big part of the movie was the coons. Esau was making Sambo coons, man, which is his greatest asset to keep his kingdom running. Because they protect him. So I'm gonna let me go get Joel 3 and 6. And how you can read about that, to start it out, you go read the book of Maccabees. Because that's when they started jumping in our kingdom and taking over and telling us to be like them. That's where that started. So I'm going to go with Joel 3 and 6. And it says, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. So we got sold to the Greeks. We got dominated, got in captivity up under the Greeks. Started the Greeks, then it turned to the Romans because the Romans conquered the Greeks. So That's why that word Black Olympian was so profound right there, because it goes back to Greek. And that goes to our people. It said right there, it said the children of Judah, one of the southern tribes, and it said the children of Jerusalem, northern tribes, have ye sold unto the Grecians. Who are the Greeks? The Greeks are the Edomites. Like I said, you read that, the book of Maccabees. Who was that? Alexander the Great. He was the first one to rule over the Greeks. Started right then and there. And then the dude, what's his name? Um, Anarchus. Anarchus, I think that's his name. Anarchos. Let me see if I can just go get it real quick. So I'm sure I'm talking about Yasharala. He was the first one to go in there and start dominating our people. There you go. Anarchus Epiphanes. Him right there in verse 10. Him. He started that. And then like when you see right there in 11, the wicked Israelites are like, man, let's go be like Grecians. We Greek, man. And their tradition continues to this day. As they show in that movie. And when you are a 2/3 Jake, you ain't nothing but a clone. That's why, like, when you see one nigga and you see a other nigga from a hood, they got the same values, man. They clones. That's why it ain't no good to even trying to like deal with them. They're gonna do the same thing. They're the same aspirations, the same goals, and they're gonna act the same way, full of curses. They're a clone. Ain't too much from one gangster nigga to the next gangster nigga. They're gonna do the same thing, you know. So I'm like that was big on that movie they called A Clone, man. That's when you stuck in that mindset, that slave mindset right there. Just being a nigga and being a black Olympian. That was a cold word. And then when he said that, like when that Edomite said that, he had total control over Jake. Total control over him. You know, and I remember they was using the music to chasing him in the car. And then, you know, the Edomite came out and he's like, Black Olympian, you know? And he made dude put the gun to his head. And like, because they get killed so much and don't remember too much, but see, he faked his death. Remember that Yasharala? So he remembered that code word. And he used that against, you know, the other 2/3 Sambo, which was really his original self, because he was the one cloning all of them. You know, he talked about his brother and let it be known why he made a deal with Esau. And he used that code word, Black Olympian, to make his bodyguard blast him. He remembered that word. You know, he was like, "Don't work on me. I'm not a clone." He was like, "I know, but he is," and finished him off. You know, and in that movie, you realize he said that like you see the self-hatred. Another thing I want to talk about. I don't think I touched on the first one. The self-hatred of Jake. Why he tied himself to Esau? It was a self-hatred thing. Because you find out in the end of the movie that his brother died from gang violence, and that made him hate Jake. It made him hate him. He's talking about how they didn't even wash the blood off of him. So he hated his own people, and he sought to destroy his people by, you know, running Esau's elaborate plan. And that's like, that was big right there. Because, like, when you look at the 2/3, that's why they're like that. Every 2/3 I know, when you talk to them and you break them down to, you know, to see why they really are the way they are, it's self-hatred, man. I done heard a lot of 2/3 say, man, niggas ain't nothing. Niggas ain't that. I want to be white. I done heard Jakes tell me that, you know, and that was that dude's issue in the movie. The self-hatred. He looked at Jake as nothing. They some stupid niggas. They done killed his brother over some gang violence. And after that, I'm about to destroy all these people. And I'm going to align myself with Esau in order to do it. They feel like, you know, a lot of 2/3 Jakes look at Esau as he's better than them. As a hopeful leg, we look at the devil as like, dude, you beneath me. You nowhere near me. So it's a difference of a mindset. Hopeful leg 2/3 got two different mindsets, you know. And I liked in the movie, like, Fontaine was coming into himself. You know, he was starting to develop a personality because he ain't been. They don't live that long. They don't be alive that long. So all the being in the truth was changing him. You know, that's why dude was talking to him like, man, give it up. You ain't gonna work at this little bodyguard. Sambo Coon beat him up. You know, he's giving him that talk as if he was nothing. You're useless. You know, we got all these in all the major cities. We've been running this. We ain't gonna lose. You know, he was that proud talk. You know, that's that pride go for destruction. He was talking in pride as if like, yeah, y'all just some little niggas I created, man. Y'all ain't nothing. But he didn't know that Fontaine was waking up and he had learned some things that, you know, he didn't know, which is that represents us in this truth. The hopeful elect. We're learning things. We're being edified. We're getting built up, you know, to where Esau ain't gonna be able to deal with us no more. So Esau needs Jake in a little bitty box to dominate Jake. You know, you need Jake dumbed down and stupid. Then he can control Jake very easily. But when Jake, you know, Yasharala Israel starts to seek out through the spirit higher knowledge, starts to get wisdom, knowledge, and understanding spiritually, you know, because this book contains all wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Because this is the, you know, the highest form of knowledge is in this book. You know, even Edomite said that the knowledge of the Bible is better than a college degree, and that's true. So he started learning because he you know, he been alive for a minute. You know, he been around, and that contributed to him defeating his original self because he used like a backfire. I like how they use what was that? Jamie Foxx character Slick Rick. He the one came with the whole game plan to tear up Esau's lab. You know, he unified the hood. It was his plan that really brought down Esau's whole enterprise in their city. Really was gonna blow the lid off everything because the other clones were starting to see like I got clones out there. That's all it take, man. That little bitty hole blew Esau's whole plan up. And it was just like they was getting more edified as the movie went on. They was learning things and they started using their skill set. And like you said, I'm gonna use their cameras against them. You know, they're gonna see what they want to see. And they was just coming up with the game plan. You know, unified the hood. Dude had to go talk to his little rival. And that's nothing why Esau do not want Jake to be unified. Because Jake unifies, he's done. He's done, which all of us won't. Only the hopeful elect will unify. And that's all Yahweh need. That's all he need. You know, but it show right there. That's it. That right there will mess Esau up. Just the hopeful elect coming together. Because that's a lot of Israelites. You think about it. That's why I said the numerous multitude. That's a lot of Israelites. This time, millions of Israelites will be saved. You know, you think about it. When you look at all 12 tribes, it's going to be a lot of Israelites to get saved. You know, more than what Esau can deal with. So I want to talk about too something that hit me big, man, was the end of the movie. At the end of the movie, and pretty much I'm already been hitting on it right now. When you think about their characters, they mindsets change, which represented them being born again. And I like what he said at the end of the movie. End of the movie, they was talking about going to Memphis, going somewhere else and start new lives. And he was like, well, I ain't been alive that long. You know, I only been here for a little bit. So it's like I might as well go with y'all. So that was to me that represented him being born again. You know, he knew it. He was like, you know, I ain't been alive that long. So he had a whole new mindset. He was born again. That's what Yahweh Shai is calling us to be. Yahweh Shai is calling us to be born again. How do you be born again? You got to renew your mind. You know, and how do you renew your mind? Through these scriptures, man, the living waters. You know, it washes you up. That's the true baptism. You know, when you submerge yourself in these living waters and look at it through spiritual lenses, it's going to change your mindset, guaranteed. And once your mindset changes, you no longer gonna fit Esau's narrative. You're not gonna be what he needs you to be. You're not gonna be that clone. You're not gonna move the way he needs you to move. You know? And then like if you a man in this truth and you really learn up on your spirit to be a prophet, you're gonna blow the lid off of everything he doing by prophesying, using the word. Because Yahweh Shah is exposing Esau right now. And we bring our scriptures to show, you know, our nation, like, you know, this devil's done. So, but to do that, you got to be born again. Because we was all caught up in the world as we've been born. We were born into sin. You know, our parents, you know, they didn't really know what was going on. You know, a lot of us wasn't born into the truth. So we had to learn the truth. Before we was all like, okay, I gotta get the bag, I gotta get the money, I gotta do this and do that. Like I said, they tell you to go to college. You get all the archetypes of what you're supposed to do in this life. But now the truth is out in the open. You even got certain children that's growing up in the truth. Like they coming up in the truth. They ain't gotta like search it out. They're coming up in the truth. But us, we had to be born again, which means our mind had to be born again. It had to be renewed. So let's go get John 3:3. He said that in the movie too. And that was big to me, man. And when he said that, I was like, yeah, he basically saying he's born again. So this John 3:3. Yahushua answered and said unto him, verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of Yahweh. You hear that? Except he be born again. So your mindset has to change. You had to. We growing up recognizing these wicked holidays, being in captivity. Some of us was being materialistic. I gotta have the newest Jordans. I gotta have a polo on. We was just thinking this about stuff that don't even matter. Straight vanity. And then you get to the truth. Then you start, your mindset. You start striving to things that are heavenly. You start getting kingdom minded. What's that? Matthew chapter 6. Seek ye first the kingdom, all things be added unto you. And when you get a kingdom mindset, you're gonna do what? You're going to walk in the laws and commandments best your abilities, which is going to change your whole walk in Babylon. Your purchases going to change. You're not going to buy the same thing you used to buy. Your value system is going to change. You're like, man, I don't need to spend $300 on no dang Jordans and all that polo. All you doing is attracting a materialistic hood rat. So I'm wasting money doing that. So, you might get other things or find another way to buy it. You might not go to the store and buy it like that. You might, buy it from other means where you ain't spending that much money. You ain't gonna waste that much money. You ain't gonna spend no $300-400 on no Jordans once your mind gets awakened. You're not gonna be going to the club no more. For what? Ain't nothing in there but niggas and hood rats. All kinds of BS. You ain't gonna want to go to the club no more. You ain't gonna want to go to like concerts like that no more with these little worldly rappers. You're not gonna want to be around 2/3 like that no more once you're born again and your mindset change. You're gonna seek to be holy. You're gonna separate from all of that. Because all of that, you're gonna look at that as folly. It's foolishness. That profits me none. And after a while, like the conversation with 2/3 gonna irk you. Because you're like, God dang, you ain't spit nothing, high-minded, nothing spiritual, nothing holy, nothing beneficial come out your mouth. All you talking about is what chick to hit, what drugs you gonna get, what money you gonna spend on, the rims, the car, all that little stuff that don't matter. That vanity. Once you be born again, your everything gonna change. Your friends gonna change. Your your whole walk of life is going to change. And Esau don't want that. They said you might smoke cigarettes, quit smoking cigarettes. Might be used to drink a lot. You're gonna quit drinking as much. So Esau loses money. When Yasharala is born again and starts walking, holy. Esau loses money off that. He profits off of Jake being in sin and then being a consumer and indulging in his wicked kingdom. Once you choose to be different, you're born again, which means your mindset is different. You're not going to do the things that you used to do. Where if you do something, you're not going to do it as much. You're going to start tapering off to where you don't even do it anymore. And you're going to be different. And then you're going to be so different because now you're going to be on the pavilion of Yahweh Shah to where Esau, he ain't even going to recognize you no more. And since he can't profit off you anymore, you're going to be a major problem to him in his system. Especially, the truth and expose him. Because he's going to feel like, what if you go tell another? And that one wakes up. And what if that one go tells another and that one wakes up? Like, his whole system going to collapse. He's going to be exposed, just like in that movie. You had our three main characters, man, they blew the whole lid off of Esau's enterprise. And they woke up the other Jakes. When they went and unified the hood, they talked to Isaac. They woke him up. He got to see the laboratory. When he walked in the laboratory, like, I always knew they was trapping down here. So he didn't want to believe it as they talked to him. He finally believed it and the whole hood got in on it. And that's Esau's greatest fear right there. They don't want Jake to wake up. But right now, mass awakening is happening. Ain't nothing he can do about it because it was governed and authored by Yahweh Shah to wake his people up. So therefore, when he gets here, the hopeful lake is already prepared for him. The fruit is already prepared. We already know who he is. We know what he want. We've been hollering his name. That's why they call another name for Yahweh Shah is Lord of Hosts. You know, he's like, it's like we all getting ready for a concert. And you know, when a artist comes to do a concert, the fans are already there waiting. They're already in their seats. They're already waiting. They already ready for him to come. They know the songs. They ready for him to come. The same thing with Yahweh Shah. Like when he come back, we gonna already be set and ready for him to come back. We calling for him now. We waiting on him now. The whole arena is being filled with his fans. So when he get here, he ain't got to come back and do what he did the first time when he was in the flesh and go talk to people and tell them about, you know, Yahweh. He ain't got to do that no more. That's already been set up, you know. The word that he left is now doing that work. The prophets, us and his legacy, we're doing the work. We're doing what he did when he left off. That's why the scripture say you enter into another man's labor. And we entering into the prophet's labor. And the top prophet ever, Yahweh Shah, our Lord and Savior. We entered into his labor. So we doing the work. So when he gets here, the fans, the whole host, the house of David is already set up. Already set up. He gonna get everything he ever wanted. All the fruit, all the Israelites he want, he's getting them now. He gonna get them. And there's nothing that Esau can do to stop that. Nothing he can do. Because this is all through the spirit. This is a spiritual temple. Esau can't battle the spirit. He can only battle the physical, the carnal. You know, that's why this is not the temple being rebuilt is not a physical temple. It's a spiritual temple. It's based on the teachings and the Israelites. Esau can't do nothing to disrupt that because he's not spiritual. And that's something he can't even battle. You know, the best thing Esau can do is try to take our life from us. But even that can't separate you from Yahweh, because you know that the dead in Hamashiach rise first during the resurrection. So there's nothing really the devil can do. So I'm loving it. That's things like I ponder on that keep me going in this truth. That I'm just watching Esau fall, man. So I might end off this right here, since I say that. We'll end off with this right here. Because you seen that in that movie. I remember Yo-Yo said that to the Edomite when Jamie Foxx and her was banging with him. And she was like, he was like, what you think your people doing? She's like, turn your stuff up as we talking right now. And I was cracking up. You know, so this is matter of fact, I'm gonna hit this, but I think I'm gonna hit something else too. It just hit my spirit. So this is Sirach or Ecclesiastes 25:7. There be 9 things which I've judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter in my tongue. A man that have the joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. And you seen the fall of Esau's enterprise in that movie. Just like we're seeing the fall of Esau's enterprise here in real life that we're seeing. Esau falling. Every day I'm looking at my news feed, the dollar's collapsing. You got 40 African countries cutting ties with Europe and America. Like you can just see Esau's downfall about to be great. He's done. This devil at the end of his rope. That's why I'm looking at Esau like, yeah, you might as well hurry up and throw your little MOTB because, dude, you're done. You are finished. You know, like that Mortal Kombat. Finish him. The devil done. So I'm going to leave off this too because this hit me too when I was watching, like, when all the Jakes ransacked the laboratory and was tearing it up. And see, that's going to spark them to do all the laboratories like that. So check it out. This is Numbers 23 and 24. Behold, the people shall rise up as a great lion and lift up himself as a young lion. He shall not lie down until he eat of the prey and drink the blood of the slain. So that's showing we going to destroy Esau's enterprise. Because he said we're going to rise up like a great lion. They said 2/3 going to give Esau too much he can handle. Because they're starting to see that Esau done lied to them. When that dollar collapsed, and Esau's the 2/3 dreams of being rappers and basketball players, when all that is crushed, when that dollar collapsed and Esau closed up his system, the 2/3 gonna run at Esau's neck because they ain't got nothing else to live for. There's nothing else to go. The system's gone. Once the system go, because we already been telling them that Esau is the devil. So once Esau show himself, 2/3 gonna be like, oh man, they was right. Remember, oh man, they been saying they right. It's the truth. Ain't gonna get the busting, man, at Esau. That's it. They gonna get mowed down, but they gonna ramsack Esau. Esau gonna have a hard time trying to subdue the 2/3. Very hard time. So I just want to leave off with that. I recommend go watch that movie. They clone Tyrone again. Great movie. I'm probably gonna watch it again too to see if there's anything else I done missed. That's a very great movie, and I hope this is edifying. I want to say Kwame Yasharala, detail about Bob. Shalom.